Hello and welcome back to FlexPath DXP. Terry, you recently made some big news with the launch of LeaseDXP, the first digital experience platform dedicated to used vehicle leasing. What exactly is LeaseDXP and why is it so significant for the industry?
Yeah, Jay, thanks. It's actually the most exciting thing I've ever done to date in the history of my career, which is long 30 plus years. LeaseDXP is a digital experience platform that offers it's a whole leasing platform, but we're focused primarily on the initial launch for used car leasing because it's something that the industry has tried to get its hands around in putting together a platform or a marketplace or just offer leasing in general, used car leasing in general. So this is a whole new platform. It's almost turnkey where we can provide the lending and the engagement, fraud prevention, the whole package into a platform for the industry. It's great for the consumer, but also for the dealers and the marketplaces that are out there where dealers are offering their inventory, and marketplaces is a key component to this platform that we're promoting because they're offering financing for used vehicles. Of course, there's captive programs for the new cars, but for leasing or for used vehicles, financing up to this point has been the primary offering. Now we're going to be able to offer and have dealers and participating lenders offer used car leasing on a large scale nationwide.
Obviously, we're seeing a lot of focus on affordability right now. What changes do you think have taken place in the market that makes used vehicle leasing so relevant?
Yeah, well, the affordability crisis, right? Consumers are seeing the price of vehicles, new vehicles skyrocket. Of course, interest rates don't help. So those two things together are pushing consumers into looking at used vehicles. So when we start offering used vehicle leasing, add used vehicle leasing to the mix where you have depreciation, which helps offset those payments, it really becomes a more affordable option for consumers considering buying a vehicle, period. And with the vehicles today, they're much more reliable, nearly new or CPO vehicle, very similar to a brand new vehicle. Or they can look at a CPO or a late model used, and you attach a lease payment to it. Now they're like, wow, I can afford something more than what I thought I could. Not extending my payments to more than I should, but being able to get a better vehicle for a payment that matches my budget.
Right. Monthly payments are a pain point. How does Lease DXP directly address that for consumers and dealers?
Yeah, so LeaseDXP it's a leasing platform for both new and used, but right now we're talking about used vehicle leasing because that's really the focus of affordability. Consumers are looking at used cars, and again with the higher interest rates, they're not seeing payments where they maybe think they should for a used car. So when we start talking about used cars and used car leasing, the monthly payment drops pretty dramatically on a used car lease because of the depreciation that you get to include into the calculation. So it makes it more affordable. I mean, it could be on average $100 to $200 a month less than a finance payment.
Right. So, do most dealers associate leasing with new cars and they're just not realizing how they can use it in used?
Yeah, so that actually brings up a larger problem with leasing in general, vehicle leasing in general, because you look at the national average, it's what, 24% maybe of vehicles that are leased. And when I talk to a dealer, and again, I'm a leasing company, right? I'm actually president of the National Vehicle Leasing Association. I am a leasing company and have been in leasing for 30 years. But when I talk to dealers and I say, your leasing percentage of sales should be above 80%, they're like, what? I mean, they're like, how is that possible? Well, if you think about it, it's about educating the consumer. So you have new vehicle leasing on like average 24%, and it should be higher. And why isn't it higher? It's really comes down to education, educating the dealers on how to talk about leasing. So the captives have subsidized lease programs, that helps. The advertising and the marketing, that helps. But to talk about used car leasing, number one, most lenders don't offer it. So most dealers don't even have access to used car. Most dealers don't have access to used car leasing. So we're bringing the access with national lenders to provide full spectrum credit lease programs to the market. So that's number one, right? So before you didn't have that. Now we have that. Now, on top of that, we're going to do the education piece. But a part of that with the platform, it puts leasing front and center in front of the consumer. So we're showing payments, monthly payments, showing monthly payments based upon their credit on used car leasing and new car leasing, or payments in general, whether it's financing or leasing. The platform does all of it. But again, we're focused on used car leasing here. And I think if we're presenting leasing in a way where the consumer can say, well, that makes sense, or it fits my budget and I'm able to get a nicer vehicle, it kind of makes sense. Again, without technology and without the ability to quote those payments with credit and eliminate the fraud, it's very hard for a dealership to be able to offer or talk about leasing in general.
So it seems like you built LeaseDXP on top of your Veriqual platform. How does that combination of identity verification and credit pre-qualification power the leasing experience?
Yeah, so we recently launched single vehicle payment prequal, and that's where we're able to prequal that customer on a particular vehicle, show them every single monthly payment they qualify for, both finance and lease. So that's the basics. That's the platform that we built and launched. On top of that, now we're able to or easily add the leasing component, the used car leasing component to that, since it's already built now, and dial in specific types of payment offers. So again, in this case, we're looking at used car leasing and be able to bring in the lenders. I'm a lender myself, but bring in other lenders that can provide full spectrum credit to the platform, which empowers again marketplaces and dealers to be able to capture more deals. So if a consumer's going, if you're talking to a customer and you're showing them a payment on a vehicle and they're like, wow, I can't afford that, I'm going to go find something else. Well, now you have the opportunity to bring in, capture more of those customers that where before it was out of their budget. Now that's in their budget through a lease, and you can actually consummate the deal.
So if I'm a consumer on a dealer's website, what's the experience like with LeaseDXP versus a traditional finance prequal tool?
Yeah, so again, being able to show both lease and loan simultaneously without having to select, well, what is a lease payment? What's a finance payment? And there's all this back and forth which is what you see on a lot of these DR platforms. They're not calculating everything in one time, right? In one display. So we show lease and loan side by side in real time with all of the terms that are available. So that consumer can just from a glance, here's this payment, here's compared to this payment side by side. And it's actually pretty cool to see, instead of an 84-month payment on a finance, I could do a 3-year lease and my payment be lower. I mean, that's like, who would not want that?
Wow, that's pretty cool. For dealers and lenders, what kind of data or fraud protection advantages do they gain from using LeaseDXP?
Yeah. So again, as fraud, we've talked about this in previous sessions and podcasts. The fraud out there, it's growing exponentially. I attend various events. I'm speaking at events about this. Virtually every session is now addressing the fraud issue that we're seeing in the marketplace. Of course, AI is a big component of that, but and we talk about the fraud stack. We've talked about that in previous podcasts where it's a fraud stack where we're eliminating fraud not with just one piece of technology, but it's placing that in like the Swiss cheese model where you have different layers of fraud protection. So Veriqual and LeaseDXP, which is built on that, brings in that fraud prevention through Veriqual. So identity verification and fraud prevention with just a phone number. And that's another thing that's new, and that's the patent pending part of our product. Our platform is being able to go from a phone number to a prequal payments and with just a phone number. So it's pretty cool. It's fast. It's easy. It eliminates. Does it eliminate 100% of the fraud? No, no product does that. So, but we're at the higher level of it, the entry part of the prequal. So we're blocking a lot of that fraud at the very top before you have to get into more expensive fraud prevention measures like driver's license scan or what have you. But we have other partners that we work with in that fraud prevention and the fraud stack that we talked about. But it's a huge component.
From a dealer's perspective, how can they start offering used vehicle leasing, and does LeaseDXP help simplify that rollout?
Yeah, we've made it almost like a turnkey. So we brought the lenders together. We have the platform. So really, it's just a matter of getting a dealer signed up. Again, whether it's an independent, whether it's a franchise dealer with thousands of vehicles, or whether it's a marketplace. So we have brought all those components and pieces together, the pre-qual, fraud prevention, the full spectrum lending for leasing, all of those components on a platform, digital experience platform, that's what DXP stands for, in one place, and it's almost turnkey. So, we're working with website providers to integrate the payment offers on their websites. And again, this does not replace any other financing that a dealer or a captive that a dealer offers. This is complements and offers an additional opportunity to capture customers that, frankly, you're probably missing. And I know you're missing because of you're not able to get to a payment that they need to be at to sell that vehicle. So, it's a pretty cool thing that we've put together that nobody to date has offered. It's not out there. So, you go to a dealer or anybody and say, look, we have this platform that can do this. And they're like, well, we have a desking tool. Yeah, how's that working out? How is that automating the whole process of offering and actually getting the customer all the way through the prequal for, we call it kind of DR light. And what I mean by that is we get the prequal, we get the customer pre-qualified, we show them the payments they qualified for under a prequal. At that point, that initial deal structure can go into a CRM. It can go into another digital retailing platform that can finish the deal, right? We're not about replacing digital retailing. We're not about replacing other lending sources. This complements and just adds another opportunity to capture more business, less friction in one platform. It's most exciting thing. And again, I've been in this business a long time. I've seen a lot of things. There is nothing more exciting in the marketplace right now than LeaseDXP.
So I think, like you were just saying, I mean, this is an opportunity for lenders to expand in originations into new segment of creditworthy consumers.
Yes, and right now we're working with lenders that are already have a lease program. We have two that are national lenders, which gives us full spectrum for leasing, and we are open to having other lenders on the platform. So, for example, National Vehicle Leasing Association, I'm president of that organization. We're bringing this product into NVLA to help our independent leasing companies or be able to offer this on a platform. Because for a lender, you may only offer leasing on a regional basis, credit union only on a regional basis. That's great. Because of the way the waterfall works, we can plug a lender in to the platform to determine what type of customer, what type of credit, what type of collateral. So when we waterfall that pre-qualification and that customer through the platform, it's going to only give you as a lender what you want, whether it's a finance or lease, right? We're talking about leasing, but it works for financing. The whole platform is built on a lender waterfall. But if you want to get into leasing, you're a lender that you're actually doing leasing, you're a credit union, independent, so like NVLA members, We'll also be able to offer this to commercial lending, commercial lessors. So that's an exciting area that we'll have this platform available to.
So you're the president of National Vehicle Leasing Association. So how is NVLA helping bring awareness to used vehicle leasing as a solution to the affordability crisis?
Yeah, so NVLA, I've been a member since 2004, been on the board forever, second time as president. It's a great organization that a lot of people know about it, but a lot of people don't know about it. It has primarily been focused on independent leasing companies, but as National Vehicle Leasing Association, it incorporates the whole vehicle leasing ecosystem. So it's everything that's leasing. And my focus as president right now is to expand that with helping franchise dealers understand and learn more about how can they present leasing to their customers. So NVLA is working on educational programs that we can roll to franchise dealers to help them understand how to promote that to their consumers. It's something that's needed. It's something that our organization, NVLA, is capable of doing. We've done it in the past. So I think it's a perfect opportunity. Again, because of the affordability crisis we're dealing with pricing all-time high of vehicles, interest rates still pretty high. I think it's a perfect opportunity for what we're doing with LeaseDXP, the education piece behind NVLA. It's a very exciting time. But in addition to that, you asked the question about, well, how do lenders benefit from this? Okay, well, we're going to help the lenders work with, if they have an indirect dealer network, we're going to help them do a better job of explaining the leasing to their dealer customers, being able to explain leasing to the consumer. So that benefits the lender on the indirect model. But we're also going to expose them to these different marketplaces. There's a number of marketplaces that have put together a consortium of finance lenders. Okay. Well, we're able to bring that leasing component to the platform or to the marketplace. So now these marketplaces, they can offer financing, leasing, the whole gamut. So they're going to be able to help dealers better merchandise and help sell more vehicles, which also helps the lenders. So all the lenders that are part of our platform are going to have access to a lot of these marketplaces that we're putting deals together. And it's really the only place that you're going to be able to get a full used car lease platform. There is no other option right now.
So then are you seeing collaboration between lenders and dealers and tech providers around this, maybe through initiatives like FraudStack and PathGuard Alliance?
Yeah, and actually these conferences I've been going to, like the last auto finance summit I went to, lenders were constantly talking about working closer with dealers with tools that can help mitigate fraud. And it's not a set and forget. You know, just since we were on this call or on this doing this podcast, things have changed. Within minutes, it's changing so rapidly that it requires collaboration with dealers and lenders for sure to make sure that we're eliminating as much of the fraud as possible. The fraudsters don't sleep. We can't sleep either. We have to know what's going on. We have to look at the technologies that are out there. We have to work together. And that's what the fraud stack's about. It's not one company doing everything. It's working together, learning from each other. Because if we don't do that, it's going to be even more expensive to buy virtually everything and anything because of fraud. Fraud increases the price of everything. So we have to make sure that we're doing everything we can, working together. Lenders understand it, dealers understand it, well, they're starting to understand it more. But I do think the lenders need to take more of an initiative on that because, the dealers, they're working away, trying to sell cars. Okay, fraud is like, it's in the way. It's an obstacle of making deals work. And unfortunately, the fraudsters have made it so easy to do that the salespeople are like, oh, wow, this is like the dream deal. Well, it's very possible it's a fraud deal, right? So the lenders need to play more of a role. NVLA is playing more of a role. So it's working together.
It sounds like it's a game changer. If a dealer or lender wants to get started with LeaseDXP, what's the first step?
Yeah, so FlexPathDXP.com, our website, you can get a hold of us there. We'll be sending more information out about the program, more details about it. Get a hold of me directly. My information is readily available, and also our FlexPath DXP website, LinkedIn. I'm on there. I'm constantly on LinkedIn. Yeah, and it's about with the platform is constantly changing too, right? So dealers will come on, they'll talk to us about, well, what about this? What about that? And we're like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's implement that, right? So, but it's based upon Veriqual, the basic platform for identity verification, credit pre-qualification, starting with just a phone number. We're the only ones in the industry. It's patent pending. There are some components out there that do some of what we do, but it's not the whole thing, which is why we're very excited about what we're offering in the marketplace.
Terry, I see the information in press releases on LinkedIn, on other media sources. It's amazing how much information you have and your passion for this topic. So, thanks for all this information. There's more coming soon, I guess.
Yeah, we have a couple more announcements coming very soon, and actually, it's really nonstop. I mean, there's so much to do, but it has to be done in a way that's beneficial to everybody, right? You don't do things just because we can do it. We do things because it benefits, and it has to benefit the dealer, the consumer, and the lender. Those three things are always in the back of our mind when we're like, should we do this? Well, does it benefit all three? And if it does, then we look at it.
Terry, thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in to FlexPath DXP. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Jay.